Sharpies?
Oh my god. I'm tired. Can you see me? Howdy, folks. My name's Edgar Navarrete. And this right here, this is a really big number. I'm tired because the camera's down there on the street alone, and I don't want it to get stolen, so I sprinted up the stairs. But hey, we're doing it for the video. 27,000 is the number of dreamers who are out there on the front lines as healthcare professionals. 27,000 people with DACA fighting for your life. And if you are someone who doesn't know DACA, I got an opportunity to talk with a dear friend and former coworker, Kalani Villafranca, who is an immigration lawyer. And she can tell you a bit more about DACA, its current status, and the future that it holds.
My name is Kalani Villafranca. I am an immigration attorney, and I own my own law firm called Villafranca Law, headquartered in Austin, Texas.
Thank you. So my very first question, for those people who might not understand what DACA is, can you explain what the DACA program is?
Absolutely. DACA stands for Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, and it's an immigration program that was started by President Obama to provide some immigration relief for certain individuals who came to the U.S. when they were children.
My next question is, currently with the state of what's happened with DACA before and what's going on right now, who can apply, and can anyone apply right now?
So to be eligible for DACA, you had to have come to the United States when you were a child, before you were 16. You had to have finished high school and stayed out of trouble with the police. But right now, nobody new can apply for DACA. The only people who can apply for DACA right now are people who have had DACA before.
Last year, DACA, there was a case in the Supreme Court regarding DACA. Can you tell us what the outcome of that case will have on DACA recipients?
Yes. So the outcome of DACA is really unstable right now. The future of DACA is very unstable. The United States Supreme Court heard a case last fall that will decide the future of DACA. The Supreme Court will issue a decision really soon. It could come as soon as next week, and it will come sometime before June of 2020. And that case could mean the end of DACA.
And what is at stake here if DACA recipients lose their DACA eligibility and the DACA program is gone?
If DACA ends, it will be catastrophic for DACA recipients. It's almost hard for me to talk about, having worked with so many DACA recipients, to think about what that will mean for them. Without DACA, they don't have permission to work in the United States. Without DACA, they don't have permission to live in the United States. And remember that these are all people who are Americans in everything but paperwork. They came here as children. They lived here. Their lives are here. Their families are here. Their work is here. Their homes are here. But without DACA, they're not allowed to be here. So a change in DACA, the inability to take advantage of DACA, is catastrophic for them.
Well, thank you so much, Kalani, for your insight on this topic.
Always happy to talk with you, Edgar.
This is Editing Edgar, and I just wanted to check in right here because if you need help with your DACA application or have questions about your DACA, make sure to contact Kalani. She's a trusted friend and colleague. She will take care of you. If you have any other immigration-related questions, contact her. She's a person to go to. With that said, I will put her information right here in case you need to contact her for your immigration-related questions. Now back to the video. But 27,000 is a big number, and I was trying to wrap my head around how can I help you, and myself too, visualize how big of a number that is. And well, what else do I know? What else do I do if you watch any of the other videos? Let's go out for a run and see how long it takes me to reach 27,000 steps. This already sounds like a bad idea, but I think we'll make a great story. I haven't done any running. I usually run with my friend Juan, but you know, social distancing. I'm not worried about pace, distance, how fast or slow I'm going. All I'm trying to achieve is the number of steps, 27,000. Just like the number of healthcare workers who have DACA and are out there fighting to get rid of this pandemic. As I'm running, I am running alone, as I mentioned, keeping away from people. So I'm being careful as I'm filming this video. Calling it quits. I don't want to hurt myself. I don't know how many steps I've run so far. I'll put them right here. Whew. 27,000 is a lot. I'm back. That was a long run, a tough run. I didn't even meet my goal of doing 27,000 steps. I believe I ran like 10 miles or so, and my total number of steps that I completed was 19,800 and something. But regardless of what the number was, the reason I went out to do this was to help myself and you, the viewer, visualize how big of a number that is. I believe my route was from downtown San Antonio all the way down to the south side and back. So I could have crossed the whole city almost. Very much like in the We Ran Across the City video that I did with my friend Juan, somewhere over here or over here. But yeah, it's a big number, and that's the number of healthcare professionals who have DACA like myself. As you heard from the immigration lawyer Kalani Villafranca, right now these 27,000 individuals are relying on DACA to be able to work legally in the US, many of which are, you know, doctors, dentists, physicians assistants, nurses, and other healthcare professionals and many of those are in the front lines fighting the coronavirus, putting their own lives at risk and putting their families' lives at risk when they return back home. The reason why this number has been around the media lately is because, as mentioned by immigration lawyer Kalani Villafranca, last fall there was a Supreme Court case that was brought up regarding the future of the DACA program. Now the decision hasn't been rendered yet, but it is expected to come out later this spring or latest this summer. So in a time like right now, where we are in dire need of all of our healthcare professionals to help us fight this pandemic, we just cannot afford to lose 27,000 healthcare professionals. It wouldn't help this current situation, and we would lose a lot of valuable workers out there because this program is ended. Now, the other side of this issue might say that 27,000 is just a drop in the bucket, that number compared to the total number of healthcare professionals is not that significant. But I found this really interesting amicus brief. Did I say that correctly? Amicus brief.
amicus, maybe that's probably what I failed law school. An amicus brief submitted by the, Association of American Medical Colleges. And it brought up a lot of really good points of why, the Supreme Court should either delay their decision or, these were some key points as to why they should decide to, keep the program in place. And some of those points included the amount of time that these healthcare professionals spend in school getting their degree. And it's not just a bachelor's typically. They usually have to continue on to some higher post-bachelor education. And then on top of the training. So that's a lot of time, and not to mention money that is spent on training these individuals to go out there and practice medicine. Another interesting point that they brought up in this amicus brief was the U.S. is struggling to keep up with a growing and aging population. And then add the pandemic to that, the U.S. just cannot afford to lose 27,000 workers who are out there in the medical field. More than ever, we must look past our differences and work together to fight this pandemic. America needs its immigrants to fight and defeat COVID-19. Thanks for watching. Please support my channel and this growing community that we have here on YouTube by liking this video and subscribing to my channel. With that said, stay safe, be responsible, and we'll see you next week for another video on Thursday. Ahí nos guachamos.